If after something goes wrong in a hospital or under medical care, and you don't receive empathy or compassion from your doctors and nurses, if communication breaks down with the doctors and nurses, if you feel like you're getting the cold shoulder and they're just blowing you off and literally kicking you to the curb, I want you to keep one thing in mind, and this is something to consider as you decide what your next steps are going to be. Doctors and nurses sometimes see a lot of bad things very frequently, sometimes on a daily basis. Moreover, most doctors and nurses see thousands of patients and families in a given year. And to keep up with that volume and to keep up with, or to protect themselves against this continual onslaught of sad stories. And again, not all these sad stories are because of potential medical error or even a known risk or a complication. The cancer patient who's been battling and the doctors and nurses have been battling and giving the best drugs and the best technology, the cancer patient dies. That's a sad story that can take an emotional toll on doctors and nurses. And so a lot of times they can become jaded. They emotionally wall themselves off. They'll put a distance between you and them. And in many instances, it's just so they can get up the next morning and go back to work and give that next patient, that next family, everything they've got and do the best job possible and keep moving forward. I guess what I'm trying to say is, that big deal to you, that once-in-a-lifetime situation, which is really, or hopefully, a once-in-a-lifetime situation, can literally be another day at the office for the doctor or the nurse. So if you have a situation where, something has gone wrong, it's very tough on you, obviously you're sad, maybe you have concerns, whatever, but you don't feel the same level of concern from the doctors and the nurses. You don't see the empathy, the compassion. You don't see the communication or hear the communication, the proactive behavior. Again, a common theme throughout these videos in the ebook, Did the Doctor Make a Mistake? Is go back. Is start by going back to the doctor or the hospital and escalating from there. Treat it like a customer service complaint process. No different here. If you don't get that empathy, that compassion, go back to that doctor, go back to that nurse and say, hey, doc, maybe this is another day at the office for you, and I appreciate that, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime deal for my family, and we're just very upset, and we just didn't feel like you were there with us. And see what happens. See what happens. At Sorry Works, we've done work. We've literally trained thousands of doctors and nurses all across the country to say to them, hey, look, doctors and nurses, when something goes wrong with your patient and family, even if there is no possibility of a mistake, stop, take a second, don't treat it like another day at the office. Get connected or get reconnected emotionally and otherwise with your patient and family, and be engaged and be involved and take the relationship to the next level. But again, training is one thing, things happening in the field are another thing, and you going back to your doctor and nurse and expressing that concern and saying, hey, I don't think you were with us when we were going through the toughest moments, can be hopefully a good thing for everybody. It can hopefully be a wake-up call for them, and maybe it'll help them not only with the next patient or family, but help them with you, and that you can get what you need from the situation, as opposed to continuing to be angry and stewing and brewing. So again, common theme throughout everything we've talked about in these videos and in the ebook is, go back to your doctor, go back to the nurses, go back to the hospital, escalate from there. No different here. But just keep in mind, the doctors and nurses see a lot of bad things on a day-to-day basis, and they see thousands of patients, so it can give you kind of, they have to insulate themselves, so you have to maybe help the doctor and nurse break through those barriers a little bit.